Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Morpeth, just to the north of Newcastle in the northeast of England again, and we're doing another visit to Anarchy Brewing Company, who do some really quite nice beers. So for this one we're having a taste of one of their kind of core range, I guess you would say. This one is the Venom IPA. It comes in at 6% ABV and it should be quite an interesting one. Apparently they say that this one is like Citra Star but on steroids, and that was a beer that I actually used to drink quite a lot of in the Head of Steam in Durham. They had that for quite a long time on tap, so I'm really interested to see how this kind of bigger brother version of that turns out. So it should be a really nice beer. I've enjoyed the other beers that I've had from Anarchy recently, and hopefully this one kind of follows suit with that. So yeah, so as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Anarchy Brew Company before. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Anarchy Brew Company then. So Anarchy Brew Company were founded back in January of 2012 by Simon and Don Miles, and they're based in Morpeth, or just outside of Morpeth actually, which is to the north of Newcastle. So originally the brewery was called Brew Star, and this was taken from the old tradition of putting a six-pointed brewer star on the end of the beer barrels, where each of the points represented different ingredients of the beer. So this was water, hops, grain, malt, yeast, and also the brewer as well. And a famous example of this, of course, is the Newcastle Brown, which I've been saying for a little while I need to review while I'm up in this part of the UK. So the company changed their name after only 8 months because of a proposed legal challenge from Brewster's Brewery down in Lincolnshire. So they decided to change the name to Anarchy Brew Company to kind of represent the sort of experimental style of beers that they wanted to produce. So the brewery are based in Whitehouse Farm, which is just outside of Morpeth, and today their beers are available quite widely throughout the northeast of England. And I believe over the last few years they have been kind of building their market in the south of England as well, and in some of the better beer shops in Scotland you can actually get these beers as well, and they are exporting to a couple of places abroad as well. I did see an article that was saying they were exporting to Sweden, although I haven't seen them in Systembolaget when I've been over there. It must be some of the beer bars and things that they're selling their beers to, or some of the private kind of distributors and stuff like that. So in 2014 they expanded their floor space by 1,000 feet because they were expanding their capacity, and in 2017 they secured quite a big loan which will allow them to get a new brew kit and things like that. So exciting times ahead for this brewery. They are going to expand. They do have quite an extensive range of beers that they do, so as I always say, check out the brewery website in the description below. You can read a little bit more about the brewery, more than my kind of quick summary, and you can have a little look at all the different beers that they do. But I will tell you, if you're a fan of IPAs, I think you will quite enjoy some of the beers you'll find from this brewery. I've had some really positive experiences with these guys in the past, so do make sure you check them out, and I've been told that I need to make sure I review the Sublime Chaos for you at some point in the near future. But yeah, that's all you need to know about the brewery just now. Let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So like I mentioned to you, this one is a 6% IPA. It says on the side here, Citra Star on steroids. An IPA with an attitude at its best way to describe this beer. Alcoholic tropical fruit juice, Citra Star on steroids. So yeah, nicely presented. This one, I'll just have a look at the artwork. You can see all the Anarchy beers have this kind of newspaper sort of collage style of artwork. As I always say, Peter over at The Clueless Drinker is probably better equipped to tell you about the different art styles than I am. You're basically talking to an artistically illiterate Scot here, but you know, I do enjoy my beer and I enjoy my home brewing and things like that. But nicely presented, this one. The very first review I did from Anarchy Brew Company actually was when their beers were still in bottles, and I think the cans have only come in maybe around 2016 or so. But yeah, you can really smell the citra hops out this as you open it up. But without further ado, let's get it out and into the glass. So yeah, there you are. So as you would expect from the IPA, it's poured a really quite nice, bright, golden colour, this one. If I hold it up to the light, it's definitely more of a yellowy colour, this one, rather than an orange. There's a finger and a half of a frothy white head on this one. It does have a little bit of a creamy tinge. You can really smell those citra hops coming off this right away. You can smell the mangoes and things like that, and there's maybe a bit of orange or tangerine or something in there as well, but it looks really nice. As you can see, if I put my fingers behind the glass, the beer is pretty opaque, it's not really transparent. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there, but overall, you know, it does look pretty nice. But yeah, exactly what you'd expect from an IPA. Looks really good. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it is citra hops in here. When they're saying it's like Citra Star on steroids, you know, you are going to get a little bit of that there, but you can smell some nice dark grapefruit kind of underpinning this one, so there will be something else in there. Not sure exactly what it is, but yeah, there's mangoes in there. A little bit of kind of pineapple or something like that. There is another kind of tropical fruit note in there, but definitely mangoes, maybe a little bit of passion fruit. There could be some Simcoe in there actually. But yeah, as you can get a little bit of these kind of lychee and gooseberry kind of notes, lemon limey notes that you expect from Citra. Citra's got this really nice kind of quite complex tropical aroma, but yeah, some kind of grassy floral aromatic. It smells like quite spicy actually as well. A little bit of lighter grassy notes in there. And with this one, you can smell the sort of bready base to it. There's a little bit of biscuit coming out of the malt base as well. So as I always say, well, maybe it's a bit, when you sugar it up a little bit, that sort of biscuity caramel just gets a little bit richer. You can really smell that mixing in with these nice juicy fruits. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of your beer before you get stuck into it. It's always quite fun actually to try and guess what hops are in a beer based on the aroma and then from the taste as well. So yeah, as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But let's get stuck into this beer then. So this one is the Venom 6% IPA from Anarchy Brew Co based in Morpeth, just outside of Newcastle. Let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål. Yeah, that's a pretty good beer. It's nice and smooth as well. I mean, the thing about this one, it's got a good bit of IBU to it, but it's not going to blow your head off. It kind of leans a little bit more towards the juicy side of things, which is nice. There's a lot of breweries will just go outright and try and make the beer as bitter as possible, just blast the arse out of the beer with hops. But it seems from the last two beers that I've had from Anarchy, I do like that because they've got a kind of better balance, if that makes sense. They've got a nice sort of sweetness to the malt base rather than just using flat pale malt. And it's quite a refreshing change actually. I do like this one, I can see what they mean. The Citra Star was a really nice beer to have on tap. And this one, when it's just got a little bit more booze in it, a little bit more malt, and just a little bit more hoppiness as well, that's kind of what you want. This is really, I really do quite like this. And again, I said the same with the Quiet Riot. This beer, it's not quite as highly rated as I think it should be on Rate Beer actually. I think it was only rated like an 80 or something like that, but to me it's far better than that. So this is one of the things that I'm saying, take Rate Beer with a bit of a pinch of salt, because for me that's a better beer than that. So yeah, with this one you get that nice sort of bready base, that blankets the middle of your palate. It's actually quite a smooth and kind of slightly sweeter bready character as well. It's almost got a little bit of a kind of buttery note to it, but right in the middle of your palate there's a nice sort of biscuity sweetness to it. It's not quite as rich and caramelly as I was thinking it would be from the aroma. It is more of a kind of digestive biscuity flavour that's in the middle of the malt base on this one. On the sides of your tongue, we're getting the hoppy notes. There's a tiny little bit of earthiness there in the back corners of your palate. As you come further forward along the sides of your tongue, there's a tiny little bit of herbal character, but then mainly it's quite a spicy, floral aromatic note, and around the very front curve of your palate, it's a bit lighter and a little bit more grassy, and of course just behind the front curve of your tongue, that's where you're going to get these nice kind of juicy, fruity characters coming out. So yeah, with this one, I'm not sure if it's single hopped, but there's from the flavour in this, and just from past experience, I'm pretty certain it's Citra that's coming out. So with this, the grapefruity notes that I was smelling in that, they don't come across. So apparently there may be a little, I wonder if there's a little touch of Simcoe in there or something like that as well, because there's a wee bit of a kind of passion fruit, maybe slightly grapefruity base to this, but on top of that is the passion fruit that makes me wonder if there's a little bit of Simcoe in there. But on top of that, you've got this nice juicy mango note, and as the flavour progresses, that's when you start to get some of the other things in there. There's maybe just a little tiny little bit of pineapple or something like that, but it's lychees, sort of lemon, limey notes, and maybe even a wee bit of kind of gooseberry or something like that comes out, and it's the lychee and lemon limey gooseberry flavours that are really quite characteristic of Citra for me, along with the mangoes that you get in the beginning. And the whole beer, you know, this whole beer just goes really well, and it's interesting because it shows you that you can simply take one hop, and if you do everything right with it, you can get a really, really nice beer. And you know, I think I do suspect that's what they've done here. There might be a little bit of Simcoe or something with that, or maybe they're using a bittering hop and then putting the Citra in to get flavours out at certain points, but I'm pretty sure that's a kind of this is a single hop beer. Just correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But it's really quite nice. As I said, my complaint about this one would be that Rate Beer and things are rating that too low. That's a really nice IPA. It's very straight up and it does what it aims to do very well. I think that's a good way to kind of summarise this one. If you like the Citra hop, if you like Citra IPAs, this one's going to suit you quite nicely. It's well balanced as well. It's, as I've said with a couple of breweries, a lot of them just like to go for all out hoppiness. This one has a little bit more kind of bready balance and a little bit of biscuity sweetness as well. So if that's your sort of thing, you are certainly going to enjoy this beer. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say it's mid-bodied, carbonation's quite smooth, it's a little bit oily, there's a good bit of hoppy bitterness to it, but it's not going to blow your head off in terms of IBUs. The malts, the bready character's quite smooth, there is a little bit of sweetness in there, and there's a good bit of juicy fruity character as well. In the aftertaste, there's a little bit of that floral aromaticity kind of sitting there, and some of the juicy fruits are there as well, and a little bit of the breadiness. But overall, just everything goes together really quite nicely. It's not over punchy in one regard, it's a very well balanced beer, and like I say, if you enjoy Citra hopped beers, then you certainly are going to enjoy this one, and with this brewery you are going to get a good quality IPA. So pardon me, make sure you have a look at it, because I have to admit I've quite enjoyed this one, and the Quiet Riot I was really impressed with as well. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some of these Anarchy Brewery IPAs, definitely have a go at them. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Anarchy Brew Company as well, and let me know some of the other breweries in the northeast of England that I should have a little look at, because hopefully I can get a hold of them. But a really nice beer, and if you're a big fan of the Citra hop, I think you will quite enjoy this one. So make sure you check it out if you get the chance. This was another one that I bought from Glug on Granger Street in Newcastle. They've got a lovely new shop on Granger Street, and they used to be based in the market, of course, and they've got a really good selection of these Anarchy Brewery beers. So if you're watching in the Newcastle area, if you haven't already, do make sure you check out Glug. So until the next time, slàinte just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. This one has been the Anti-Venom IPA from Anarchy Brew Company in Morpeth in the northeast of England. Slàinte just now.